Hello everyone. Welcome to Mindelo, Cape Verde, city of arrival of the first leg of the GLOBE40, a unique place on the island of São Vicente, which instantly charmed the competitors of the GLOBE40. Milai Around the World outpaces the first leg. In the front page of this new episode, Untouchable Milai, the Japanese boat outpaced the competition in an intense leg, marked by an unfortunate collision right after the departure in the Bay of Tangier. Masa Suzuki and Andrea Fantini, Milai Around the World, will introduce you to the winning team of the first leg, who had already won the prologue. Milai Around the World, the human adventure of an international project around Masa Suzuki. Encounter, the lonely life of the keeper of Donna Amelia Lighthouse. Unique encounter at the end of the rock. Danilo Montero is a lighthouse keeper. He leads a lonely life full of sacrifices. The fishing industry, driver of the Cape Verdean economy. Fishing, matter of life. In Mindelo, 3/4 of the population live through the live food fish trade, but the artisanal fishery is dangerously threatened by industrial practices. 3 races in 1. Let's focus on the course of the second leg between Cape Verde and Mauritius. A journey filled with pitfalls, with the Great South as a highlight, a passage feared by the sailors. But before we mention the race, let's discover Cape Verde. Isolated archipelago in the middle of the Atlantic, 300 miles off the coasts of Senegal, Cape Verde, 583,000 inhabitants, unequally dispatched on the 10 islands of this young nation, independent since 1975. For a long time, these lands had been unoccupied. It took 15 centuries after JC and the colonization expeditions for the Portuguese to discover and allocate for themselves this archipelago. By then, the strength of Cape Verde was its privileged position in the middle of the ocean, at the crossroads leading to Europe, Africa, and America. The archipelago flourished as a hub for slave trafficking.
We are a very important place between the continents in that time. We are the first country founded by the European country in the tropics. And we play a different role between that time. But when the slave traffic is finished, Cape Verde lost his role in the world trafficking, in the world commerce.
Deprived of the role for whom it had been created, Cape Verde then enters a dark era of its history. Prime target of the pirates, plundered many times, the islands lived decades of declining, decadence and poverty until the middle of the 20th century.
And in the 20th century, we achieved our independence from Portugal. And since that time, 47 years, we are trying to build a new country with the Portuguese and Creole language as official language, and we are trying to put Cape Verde on the map.
In that sense, the GLOBE40 stopover at São Vicente Island is a wonderful spotlight on Cape Verde and on its ability of accommodating high-level sailing boats, transiting to other destinations.
Cape Verde recovered the role we played in the 16th century as an important stopover for the big ships who was traveling between the world.
C'est vrai que le positionnement des îles en plus nous permet d'envisager un grand parcours vers l'île Maurice. qui n'aurait pas été possible au départ de l'Europe directement. Et c'est en plus une île qui a l'infrastructure nautique pour nous recevoir. Danilo, c'est un grand port de transit, c'est un de ces lieux un peu magiques qu'on trouve dans le monde, qui ont été pendant très longtemps un port d'escale vers l'Amérique du Sud, donc qui ont créé une culture très polyglotte, très internationale, avec un esprit très particulier. Et évidemment, avec ce goût de la musique absolument extraordinaire. On ne trouve pas le moindre bar, la moindre guinguette à son groupe de musique de qualité.
Music in the heart of the life of Cape Verdean people. In the aftermath of their international icon, Caesarea Evora, pride of the country, she who placed the little archipelago on the cultural map of the world. Nowadays, Cape Verde aspires to develop its international outreach on various other aspects, particularly to the world of offshore sailing.
GLOBE40 help us to put Cape Verde on the map, and maybe we can bring more skippers to Cape Verde, more sailors to Cape Verde, and I think GLOBE40 is a very important moment to Cape Verde to promote more themselves and to present himself as a country who can be mentioned but visited by the skippers.
After the playful warm-up that was the prologue, here is the first leg. The true departure of the great adventure around the world. Big moment, huge emotions. 7 boats unleashed in the heart of the Bay of Tangier. 1,740 miles to go. Destination, Cape Verde. Right at the beginning, a simple motto, intensity. Between tactical placements and sail trims, competition is already on. Off the mythical Cape Spartel, the race was so disputed that 2 boats collided.
Yeah, okay, that was quite a start. It was really so unfortunate. We had a decent start, it's good winds, heading upwind, and we had an unfortunate incident with port starboard, and I tried to tack away, nearly made it, and we had that collision, and it's devastating. I've never ever had a collision in my life, so it was horrible for me to have that happen. And it took a little bit to sort of, you've got to reground yourself after that.
Once the door of the Atlantic behind them, the skippers of the GLOBE40 dived into the trade winds to Cape Verde via the iconic archipelagos off the African coast, Madeira, Canary Islands, until Cape Verde.
First leg was a pretty straightforward leg with basically 2 major serious strategic points. One was to go around Madeira and miss out the big wind shadow, and the second very important thing was to go around Canary Islands and choose the right path to also avoid the big wind shadow around the Canaries. And after the Canaries, between the Canaries and Cape Verdes, it was pretty straightforward sailing with trade winds, and basically the group who came out after the Canaries, that sequence is also the sequence where we in the end finished.
Between strong winds and the calms, the competition is fierce, the fleet in a tight bunch from end to end.
It was good racing, and we were, you know, I think we could have either come in 3rd or 6th, and we ended up in 5th, but there was only about 4 hours separating the 4 boats, so it was very close.
I think the excellent thing about racing in ocean class, like class 40, is 4 boats arrived within 4 hours after 2,000 miles, which I think is quite exciting. It was nerve-wracking until the very end.
By day 2, we set the record for most miles, and that was such a personal achievement to have a rough start like that and then to get back in the race and push that hard that we set the record for the entire race, that was brilliant.
Up at the front from the first mark of the race in Madeira, the Japanese boat, Malai Around the World, never let any opponent get close, nor threaten him to the stage victory in Mindelo. A masterpiece victory, an undeniable success.
Fortunately, we could win prologue and first leg, and I'm feeling really good about our boat preparing and our practice last 2 years. And now it's very feeling good, so I want to try to keep going, like continue to get a good result for the next second leg also.
This first leg of the GLOBE40 was led to an average speed of 11 knots. If Malai got the lead, the stage proved the homogeneity of the fleet, a clear guarantee of sporting interest for the rest of the Round the World. Meet Masa Suzuki. The 37 years of age sailor is realizing his child's dream of navigating on the seas of the world.
Yeah, I started sailing when I was a child. From the Optimist, it was a very small dinghy. Optimist was just around the small mark when I was a child. But I got a dream to go to the more outside. My father had a very small cruising boat, which is a 6 meters cruising boat. And we went to the 50 miles cruising with my father. And when I was steering with my father, and I had 15 or 25 knot wind speed, it is not strong, but I felt it's very strong. One of the adventure is really fun for me. I feel really good. So I start to think about to make my dream, which is around the world when I was a child.
The Malai Around the World project is first and foremost a human adventure, international as well, since Masa Suzuki shares his round the world with his compatriot Koji Nakagawa, French sailor Estelle Grec, and Italian navigators Luca Rossetti and Andrea Fantini. The latter joined him in Mindelo to prepare the boat and to endorse the role of co-skipper for the second leg, between Cape Verde and Mauritius. Navigation, a passion he developed alongside his parents, who spent their holidays touring on a sailboat.
When I was a child, we were sailing, like cruising in the Adriatic Sea, and every summer we were going to Croatia, maybe Greece, and and then I grew up always with the dream of like offshore sailing.
Andrea and Masa aren't long-time mates. They met during the Transat Jacques Vabre 2021.
I was sailing with another French guys, and Masa was sailing with another French girl, and we met in Le Havre. And since then, I mean, we have been very good together, and we had a very good relationship, even if we didn't know each other. And then after the Jacques Vabre, he called me to ask me if I wanted to join from some leg of the GLOBE40, and then here we are.
On an outing to discover the Santo Aneo Island, the two men consolidate their complicity, talk about the next stage, but above all, they enjoy nature, atypical landscapes, almost at heaven's door.
We can enjoy each stopover, like here we are staying in the Cape Verde, and we could enjoy the landscape, seascape, and the people, food, and that is one more point. And one more point is we can do the around the world by the safety with class 40. So I think GLOBE40 is a really good balance to make adventure and make fun.
think we have enough experience at sea, so I think we are experienced sailors, and for sure we are not gonna take any risks. So I think that is the first thing. Safety always first, and yeah, we have a really good relationship, so it's very easy to sail with Masa, and this is the first thing to get a good result, I think.
Up until now, Masa Suzuki made no mistake. He comfortably won the prologue and the first leg of the GLOBE40. In the eyes of other teams, he looks like the favoured candidate for the final victory. On the western point on the island of São Vicente, the lighthouse of Dona Amelia perched on a rock 75 meters above the sea, far away from civilization, overlooking the bays of Ribeirinha and São Pedro. It is a precious landmark for every sailor approaching Cape Verde. Here's Danilo Montero, lighthouse keeper for the past 5 years. He takes care of this isolated lighthouse, the last one not automized on the island. Every day, he must protect it from deteriorations, squatters, and make sure that the glasses are clean, alone with his dog Diego. He leads a life at the complete opposite to modern world.
É aqui que eu vivo. Ela é a minha cama, é aqui que eu cozinhar, tenho que ir lá buscar água, tenho que cozinhar, dormir, tudo dia aqui. Agora, aí às vezes, quando não tem internet, posso sair aqui 30 minutos para ir lá ao frente da Praia Branca, para apanhar o internet gratuito, para seguir coisas de desporto, para falar com algum experiente e depois regressar. Mas tem que ficar aqui.
In the lighthouse, no running water. Danilo has to get to the nearest village to fill up his buckets. A 45-minute walk on a little way cut along the ledge of the mountain. Bumpy, sometimes on the blink of the precipice. A true balancing act.
Então, eu saio daqui quando vai lá São Pedro buscar água, quando vai fazer compra, é isto. Mas tem que ficar aí permanentemente porque se não tiver cá, os bandidos vêm cá danificar isto.
Keeping the Dona Amelia lighthouse is no vocation, more a matter of surviving on an island where it's difficult to live decently. Sometimes it means taking a job, even if the working conditions are far from acceptable.
Sim, então fica ali, eu fiquei definitivamente 24 horas. Se ficar 24 horas não consigo chegar às minhas conclusões, criar as minhas condições para ter a minha família, porque aqui eu fico muito solitário. Não tem fim de semana, não tem feriado, não tem nada.
But Danilo does not intend to stay on his lighthouse all his life. He dreams of exile.
Gostaria de ir à Europa para uma vida melhor, porque este trabalho é um trabalho muito difícil. Para além de eu ganho muito pouco, é muito difícil. Fica solitário, aqui a vida é pouquinho complicada.
Let's focus on the #1 economical activity on São Vicente Island. the fishing João takes us on board to find out about his day-to-day life.
Toute la famille habite à Saint-Pétre. Tous les jours, il faut la pêche. Tous les jours. Et c'est la profession de tout le monde sur la pêche. Jour, toute la personne, c'est pêcher comme la ligne seulement. Non avec de nouvelles technologies. C'est que problème. Parce que ça va, toujours, ça va, mesmo sítio. Toujours la pêcher parce que là, non pêche.
In Mindelo, men go to sea, whilst women take care of the selling of the fish on the various markets on the island.
Que 80% da população de Cabo Verde é de pesca.
The fish companies and the fish activities play a major role since our discovery in the 15th. And right now we're trying to promote our economic zone as a stopover, but a place where you can find everything.
The development of the fishing sector is not without problems. Workers with ancient techniques should face the competition of the industrial structures, such as trawlers or gigantic factory ships.
Tem grande problema entre, Mauricio tem problema grande entre pesca artesanal e pesca industrial, porque esta pescar no mesmo local onde é que pesca artesanal te vai pescar e eles se criar dia por dia e te criar nós grande dificuldade e que tita para o país tem uma tendência de captura de diminuir dia por dia e é preocupante. Não, ici já não beaucoup de poissons, parce que avant ici il y a beaucoup de poissons. Tout pêcher ici c'est pêcher de cire, c'est pêcher de ligne à main, mais avant, de ce moment c'est non beaucoup de poissons.
In Cape Verde, public authorities are aware that the durability of this economy will rely on preserving the resources and the ocean floor.
We are trying to put ourselves as a large marine or ocean state who preserve the maritime economy, but we also preserve our ecology.
It's a complicated equation to solve. Preserving the environment, as well as ensuring a decent life to the population and to the sea workers.
Normalmente, para melhorar a situação do pescador no Cabo Verde, em primeiro lugar, eles têm que postar fortemente novas frotas com capacidade de ir um bocadinho mais longe, e também eles têm que postar fortemente na formações, na capacitações de pescadores, e também eles têm que postar fortemente na nova tecnologia de embarcação de pesca artesanal.
It's a paradox. To survive, artisanal fishing should rely on technological progress. The price to pay for many families to subsist.
It's going to be a challenging one.
It will be one of the hardest and longest.
Peu ont été dans ces mers-là, presque 7000 milles en environ 35 jours de course.
Prendre soin, tenir jusqu'au bout, jouer dans la durée, pas se tromper d'objectif.
Fearsome and dreaded. Tension is at its highest on the decks. The emotion of goodbyes, the excitement, and the nervousness of the departure. Whilst weighing the anchor, the skippers know that they embark on a crucial stage of their adventure around the globe, the longest and most dangerous leg of the GLOBE40. For those who already felt tired after the first stage, it's to be everything but an easy ride.
Now we're looking at the prospect of 35 days at sea, four times as long. So I think we'll have to get into a different rhythm and learn to conserve our energy a little bit and sail wisely for the long haul.
The complexity of the leg will be to correctly place the cursor between competitivity and security, between precaution and efficiency, for more than a month of navigation, during which the sailors will have to be fine strategists.
And then you have basically 3 big races, 3,000 miles to get through the doldrums, 3,000 miles to cross or to turn around Helena High, and then the last about 2,000 miles to 1,500 miles to go to Mauritius. So 3 big races in one leg.
Very, very strategic and very interesting challenges. So we have the doldrums, we have the St. Helena High, and we have the big currents around the southern tip of Africa, and all of them, each part has its own strategy and tactical decisions to make, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Serenity will be the key on board. To face a complicated race filled with pitfalls, with complex meteorological conditions.
We are going to the south during the winter. Not even the Vendée Globe or other around the world races, they go down there in winter time, so it will be pretty tough.
Yesterday I checked the weather and it looks from Cape of Good Hope to Antarctica 50 knots, it's just brutal. So we'll have to pay close attention, and we're going through all the weather.
They shall save energy, take care of themselves. That is the message delivered by the race organizers.
Là, j'ai axé le briefing sur le prendre soin, entre guillemets, prendre soin de son bateau pour qu'il tienne dans la durée, prendre soin de soi, de son équipier aussi, et puis de travailler plus sur des vitesses moyennes plutôt que de chercher à faire le plus grand surf instantané. Le but du jeu, c'est d'essayer d'avoir une vitesse la plus rapide possible, mais en même temps qu'elle puisse tenir dans le temps.
This is still second stage, so I want to cross the finishing line on second stage, second leg by safety. So I want to try to beat the maker faster, but most important thing is I need arrive Mauritius next month.
The upcoming month at sea is to be crucial for the GLOBE40 cruise. Nobody is protected against the hazards of southern seas, where everybody, including the best ones, have no guarantees. Every decision, every action could be decisive. The whole classification is on game. You'll know about it in the next episode of the GLOBE40 magazine, when we'll take you to discover the jewels of Mauritius.